Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right. Sorry about the delay. We're here. Damn, 4 minutes. I'm sorry about that. I am here. We're here. Just had to get everything popping. Still trying to. Let me get this thing right real quick. Sorry again. There we go. Let's put that on and let's start this thing. Let's get this thing started for you. What up to my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks? You're now rocking with the best of Don Tony Teflon, Fill the Issues guy. And this is from Usual Suspects in the building, man. What's going on, Phil? How are you?
I'm doing well. Great to be here. Great to talk about From. Sorry, everybody that tried to tune in last week. That was on me. I had to go to a Celtics playoff game and have my heart broken in Game 5. I mean, the series ended up all right, but that's where I was last week. So it's good to be back here and keep the From action going on. If you haven't already, check out Tony's video earlier about some theories of the boy and wine. I definitely want to talk about that because I like. I'm not sure if I agree with all of it, but one part I really, really, really liked what you were saying. We'll get into that a little bit.
All right, we'll talk about the boy and wife. Y'all definitely go check out the video I just dropped. Eric C. Canelo is still the GOAT. No, it's not. But I'm glad that you're a faithful fan.
He's a believer.
That's what he needs, right? You know, and I'm going to tell you a quick story, and just for you. All right, when I was at the Boxing Hall of Fame one year, I met Sugar Ray Leonard, and I was talking to him. And he told me this exact thing. And this is why, it's important that you be like that. He's like, when you're a boxer, you win your fights. He goes, you go 50-0. You win all your fights. He says, everyone loves you. You're the talk of the town. Everybody wants to be around you. You lose one fight, especially if you get knocked out. Your friends make fun of you. You can't go to the barber shop. They're making fun of you. 50 wins in a row. You lose one time, and it's just like that. And that's why it's very important for people to support their boxers. When they lose, they lose. It happens. Everyone loses in the game, but always support your people. So got much love for you. What up to the people? Let's say what up to the people right here. My man Vince Harper's in the building, rocking with us. Miss T is in the building, rocking with us. Steve is up in the building, rocking with us. Michelle Hayes is up in the building, rocking with us. Lady Starfall is up in here. Again, leave your comments, voicemails. 781-990-8509 is the number for you to do that. This is here for you. You know what I mean? And that's what that's what you do. You got to do that, man. That's what's up. I met Genome is in the building. What up, guys? Loving every live, loving the theories. Thank you for rocking with us. Listen, we here rocking these theories, and you know what I mean, all off season until this thing pops. Because I was talking to Phil about this a little bit earlier, so we'll talk about this before we go into that boy and white stuff. But how big do you think this show has a chance of getting? I mean, when we look at the level of shows, I mean, there's certain tiers, right? There's Game of Thrones. That's the top tier, as top as it gets.
Yeah, Walking Dead in its prime. And right now we're not talking about quality. We're talking about when it becomes the show for a moment. The Sopranos was the show for a minute. Lost was the show for a minute. We're talking about those big tent pole kind of shows that draw a lot of attention. That's a different. We're not talking about quality. If we were talking about quality, we could get into a different subject altogether.
Popularity. Like, how big popular can this show get? As you said, Game of Thrones is the highest standard. And for a show to reach that level, it has to become an event that every Saturday and Friday when it's released, people gather around. Like, I remember Game of Thrones came out Sunday. People come over my house every Sunday to watch a Game of Thrones. They'd be over my house, sitting on the couch, waiting for it to start. It has to become that. Does this show, and The Walking Dead was that? It was that, no doubt.
The Walking Dead was that.
AMC was nothing more than a network that just put on biographies.
Yep.
Before The Walking Dead came in there, right?
There were 3 shows. The Walking Dead was the biggest of the 3, but it was really Mad Men, Breaking Bad, and The Walking Dead. But Mad Men got the critical acclaim. Walking Dead got the numbers, and Breaking Bad got that like cool ratio. So they kind of got it from 3, and then they really haven't created. I mean, there's been some decent shows since then, but they really live off that triforce of shows. But you're right, Walking Dead just took it to the next level, and no one's cared too much about AMC. But my variant question off your question is: in the age of streaming, the way things are released, not necessarily at a certain time of day, can we get a single show like that again? Is it possible for a show to grab people exactly like that? Because I agree, what makes some of the shows you mentioned, all the shows you mentioned, I'll add Sopranos, as I talked about that earlier. I remember people coming over my house every Sunday. No, one dude has HBO, and then like 10 guys pile into the apartment to watch the episode of The Sopranos because only one guy can pay for HBO. Event television is huge. Right now, it's almost like the only event television that exists still is sports, and like award shows, I guess, or when they do, live Grease live musical, things like that. There's a couple of shows that are still going on. Do you think event television can stick around with the change of the way entertainment is? And if so, that what Tony's asking, how big can this From get? How big of a show does it have that addictive quality? And I think it does.
Yeah, and I think that Miss T made a good point in there. If they allow this to go to a different streaming network, say Netflix, just for the first season to get more eyes on it. Yeah. I think the fact that it's on Epix, and I like Epix. I think Epix put out quality shows. Godfather, Harlem is really good. They put out, but I think that not as many people have Epix. It's not one of those streamings. It's not Netflix. It's not Hulu. Yeah. It's not in the top tier right now. So to get more eyes on it, they put on Netflix. They did that with Evil. Evil did that. Season 1 of Evil went to Netflix and boost the numbers all the way up. Same thing happened with your show, the Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai, same thing happened with that show. With Cobra Kai and the show I'm about to talk about, Netflix actually straight out bought it with Cobra Kai and You. Or not You. Is that what it's called? The show with the dude Penn Badgley and stuff? Is that
what the serial killer guy?
Yeah. Is that what it's called? You?
Yeah, it is.
That show started off as a Lifetime show. And no one was watching that shit on Lifetime. And it wasn't until it got added to Netflix the first season, and then Netflix bought it because they saw it had an addictive quality. I agree. I think this show has and we were talking about this because I was doing a Better Call Saul stream, and then we had our first question tonight comes from someone that asked it during that stream. And there was a few other people that popped up. I'm here for thank you guys for following over to my channel and checking it out. But it started the conversation that this show definitely has that event TV possibility in the sense of the way people can talk about it. Tony was saying it has Walking Dead upside because of wondering who could go every week and that excitement you have. And then also it has the mystery of the week lost aspect of it. So I think this show can get as big as a show can get if it can get in front of enough eyes. It's like that amazing rock band that just needs to play in front of that one crowd to be able to like turn them. But so I think the sky's the limit of this show and whatever that is now. And I know Quan in the live chat says no event TV is dead. And I've definitely heard that perspective before, that nothing will ever be that big. Nothing will ever be as big of a series finale as Cheers and MASH, because you're just not going to get that many eyes on something that isn't a Super Bowl. So there is something to be said. I don't know, Tony. What do you think?
I don't think it's dead, because still people still want to be in on something. And if you go to your job and everybody else has watched something and you're not in on it, you feel left out. And I still think that has the factor. So if you get enough people talking about this show and you go to your job and say, what are you talking about? You haven't seen From? You don't know nothing about this From? People are there, I got to watch this From. I got to go watch it. I still think that it has that ability to do it. When I look at this show, it has an addictive quality, enough mystery to get to that point. And that's why I think that this show can truly get to that point. It really has the bars there. It has good enough actors that are on it. That's number one. Has good enough actors that on it. The storyline is good. It has enough mystery to keep you going. So I think that when you add all those things on it, I think that it could definitely reach a Walking Dead level to that point where it's not the number one show on TV, but top five. I
Right.
could
It
see
could be
it
one
being
of the
top
most
five.
talked about. It could be
Yeah,
one of the, and Miss T said it, water cooler show for sure. In that world where, now it's like sitting around with your water bottles, not water coolers or something. But does have that kind of upside to it. I really do believe it. And a couple of people saying Severance, someone said Severance just did it, kind of created an event thing. It definitely created a finale where, and we won't spoil or go into Severance here too far, just to say that I group these three shows together just because they all came out this year, and I think they're all of high quality. Outer Range, From, and Severance. They're not exactly the same at all, but they're all three produced. I would say Severance had the most satisfying finale of them. I like
yeah,
From the best, but that Severance finale knew what to give you and still lead you for more, but actually slap you across the face with a satisfying season finale. Other shows should look to what that show did to give you, because they were able to do that, give you answers and keep mysteries without pissing people off. And From, like I said, is my favorite of the three shows. But I could see some people having that. We talked about it for weeks
yeah,
here, the post-traumatic loss disorder with it, and being like, I didn't get enough. This
yeah.
show's gonna disappoint me again.
Well, especially if you deal with like YouTubers, like if you're a YouTuber and you're watching stuff, so you have the guys you like, and you have guys you like to see shut down, right? So
Yeah.
when you deal with like someone like me, you may like the Don Tony Teflon, you might be you come here, you watch me every week, but you might you may say, oh, I hope it ain't aliens. I hope I can just come here and see this motherfucker face.
Yep.
What is that? You're not gonna. It's gonna be. You know
I
what
want
I
to
mean?
see him eat the chip.
Yeah, they want to see it. You know what I mean? So you get that, and when you don't have a definitive answer one way or another, and it drags out to another season, you're like, oh goddamn, I can't say he was right. I can't say he was wrong. We got to keep going with it, and that's it. So I think that they gave you answers on From, but it wasn't big enough. Like it wasn't satisfying enough. Like I would say the Tabitha thing when she went in the basement and found Victor. That's not enough for me. Like knowing that we're there, that the monsters sleep down there. That's not enough.
No, parts of it were enough. The radio, the way they handled the whole
The radio,
radio scene was perfect. Like that almost should have been the moment that they ended the season on. I know they wanted to end it on Boyd, but like that was a really good build up conclusion to that part of the story. But I agree with you. The Tabitha thing was somewhat unsatisfying. I guess we can get into where we let. I think I was at least. I liked where they ended Boyd off and in like everything that happened with the two of them to a certain extent, but specifically the way they did the way they did that thing was very, very, really very good. Michelle says, Tony, you want milk or bread with your chip?
Yeah, I'm not gonna have anything with it. They're gonna just see. Only thing I'm gonna be doing is the dance for you. That's the river dance. I'm
River
river
dancing
dancing
it.
on all you people.
Uh,
That's
so
it.
so Tony, I did get a text during the Saul stream, and I wanted to mention this because I don't know if you've ever talked about this, and it's from area code 504. He said, I know I'm in the wrong. I just can never catch you live, but one question, you can literally spend 1 second on it. Why didn't the townspeople ever think or ever try to make weapons out of the talismans? Do you think that's a possibility in the future? Do you think that would work, making a weapon out of the talisman?
Like so you could like make a. I mean, the only thing I can see you making is like a spearhead.
Yeah, like you like shave it, you turn it into like one of those Brady, like the Brady Bunch.
Maybe it could be. Maybe that it's a possibility that they could do that. I don't know if they really will be able to do that though when it's all said and done. But maybe I would say maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that someone like Boyd, that would be one of his first thoughts if it was a possibility. Perhaps they don't want to mess with it. They don't want to mess with the structure of it to ruin its effect being effective. But I don't know. We also have another text, and thank you so much for the text. They're just as good. We like the voicemails, but if you want to text and we miss your chat, that works as well. The creatures coming out of the woods. Oh, that's from before. Love the boy in white theory. Just unclear on why he is bad/evil. Is he the runaway patient? What is the cause of his evilness? Okay, so to transition a little bit, if you haven't already, as I mentioned, definitely watch Tony's Boy in White theory video. So the question here is just unclear on why he is bad/evil. Is he the runaway patient? What is the cause of his evilness? So first off, it's not clear if he's evil or not, what his agenda is. Tony put out a theory, and he can clean it up for me because I'm going to paraphrase it to a certain extent, that the boy in white possibly was experimented on and he escaped, and then they've been trying to get a hold of him since in some ways. And that's the part I really like. It seems like he's been messed with them, and he's above it all. He's floating through the situation. Also talked about the dogs with the dogs around to know that he's actually real and he's actually a being that is there. I like that as well. And that the fact that the monsters, the alien vampire things that might be trying to get him. And I know I mentioned Lost a lot, and people have said there's only one writer from Lost. It's not Lost. But just to pull another thing, it reminds me of maybe the Man in Black trying to get Jacob, and that maybe if they get him, they win or they achieve whatever goal. Like he holds something that they need to get. I'm not saying, I don't think it's clear that the boy in white is evil or good. I think he works a different agenda than anybody else, and we haven't quite found that out. Maybe, again, to do another stupid Lost, sorry, not stupid Lost thing, meaning I'm doing it again. Maybe he's bringing the people here. Maybe he's deciding what people come when they drive through because he needs certain people's help to overcome this challenge. And he's got his own weird agenda that we're not privy to. Or maybe he is a creature of them, like the Grim Reaper bringing people to Satan. Like, you don't really know. So Tony can clean up me butchering his theory, but I think I got some of it right.
You got a lot of it right, So the boy in white, when we look at the boy in white, and definitely just because I talk about it tonight, go back and watch the video. If you haven't watched it, it's up there. Watch the video. It's not that long, and it'll get more in depth. I don't know about more in depth, more time here to talk about it, but it'll give it to you real quick. I would say that when we look at, you got to look at the things that we've seen about this boy in white. Number one, now you could say, people say, listen, the boy in white is some type of person that's trying to lead people to their death. Mm-hmm. I can't see it being anything like that because it only communicates with a couple of people. If that was the case, he'd talk to everybody.
Two so far that we've seen, right?
Yeah, we've seen him talk to two, but 3 people seen him, right? So we know 3 people seen him, and 2 people have actually spoken to him that we know of, and that's it. So so if he's trying to lead a bunch of people to his death, talking to 3 people is not good enough to do it. All right, now we've seen him save Victor when Victor first got there, and Victor was a child. He saved Victor, and he always saves people by instructing them to go into a certain into a certain far away.
Tony, you can call it a werewood too.
I might as well call it.
I think you can do it. We just need little creepy children of the forest people in there, and we'll be all set. You can.
If you have a theory, don't just put it in the chat right here. Call up the number 781-990-8509 or leave a text on that number, and we will talk about your theory. We're definitely here to talk about all theories and see what it is. So definitely call that number. It's right there on the bottom of the screen going across the scroll. So when you look at the boy in white, that's what we see. He has some ability. You know what I mean? He has some ability to predict where people are going to come out of this tree. Like, he knows, go in this tree, you'll be safe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He knows you're going to be safe. Now, Victor said that if you go inside these trees, you have no idea when you come out. But every time he tells someone to go in a tree, they wind up safe.
Now, my question with the boy in white is, how does he know that? And does he have a map of it in his brain? Is he psychic enough to know to sort of have a prediction of where it's going and stuff? Exactly. Is he time travel? Tony's time travel Ben, but is the boy in white brain a little bit and can kind of see in the future to a certain extent, or he just understands the odds of it? So you think, and you said this in the video as well, you think he knows exactly where each one of those trees is, as much as someone can control that. He knows where he's sending people.
He's either doing it himself. Like, it may not be the actual tree. It could be him. Right? He may have the control over all of them. So he knows exactly where the fuck you're going. Yeah, now you got to look at who got stuck somewhere and who got stuck somewhere else. When Victor, think about it like this, and I didn't put this in the video because I'm thinking about it right now. I'm going through when things happen in my head. First, you see Victor, right? Victor and what's the kid's name? I can't think of the kid's name.
Oh, Eli, not you.
Ethan.
Ethan.
Right? They walk into the forest. They follow the boy in white. The boy in white's in there. They follow him in there. When they follow him in there, he takes the rock and he puts the smiley face on the rock and he says, "Watch this." He drops it in the far away tree, and then that rock comes up right by them. So if it was truly that random, it wouldn't have came up right by them. He did that knowing that it was going to come by him. Now, maybe he didn't know, but they followed the boy in white, and the boy in white knows that's what he wanted him to do. He could have allowed that rock to drop right by him. When the parents came after him, the dogs surrounded the parents, trying to prevent them from doing what Victor and Ethan was doing. So it's like, I don't think that they were going to hurt the parents, the dogs, but I think they were trying to keep them away so Victor can finish doing what he was doing with Ethan at that particular time. So I think the boy in white may have some type of control over the tree network, and maybe it's him that's sending people around. And
you wanted to say Wayward Net, didn't you? You did.
I did. I almost did. So it's either that or he has control of technology. Now, what I think when you deal with that is next question people will say is that is the boy in white a ghost? And I don't think he's a ghost or a figment in imagination, because I think the number one proof we have of that is that when he talked to Sarah finally, and we see how he communicated with Sarah. It was the first time we heard him actually speak to someone, heard his voice. He did it mentally through her mind. He got wet in the rain. He wasn't just standing. If he was a ghost, you don't see Casper wet. It's raining outside. I mean, in the cartoon, maybe he does. All right, but you don't see it. You didn't see Patrick Swayze and Ghost get wet outside. You don't see Ghost that goes right through him. But he was soaking wet. His hair looked like Eddie Munster in the front, all right, because he was soaking wet. So if he was soaking wet out there, that means the rain is affecting him.
Right, that shows, because I was going to ask you if we've seen him actually touch anybody or touch anything like in real, but the rain does say that it has.
We've seen him with the merry-go-round. When he sat on the merry-go-round, he pushed it around first and then jumped on it while it spun.
Area code 504 says, Victor said the creatures sleep underground. If this is the case, why were the townspeople hiding safely underground for years? If Victor knows a lot, he might be lying. Do you think Victor is lying when he's saying that information? Is Victor just a lie pants? Or I think to answer the question for myself, I think Victor, I've said this many times, is a creature of the boy in white. So he'll do whatever the boy in white says.
Yeah, he might, the thing that's he says in the thing, he says they draw on walls too. So they like to draw too. So Victor draws, and it seems like these creatures are drawing on the walls also. Mm-hmm. All right. And the same shape that was down there in that cavern was the same shape that kept coming to Jade in all of his visions. Right. That was the shape that every time he's seen it and everything else. Now, I don't know if Victor's smart enough to be a liar. He would have to be like Kaiser Soze, right?
He'd have to be Bridge 4.
Yeah, he have to be Bridge 4. He have to be faking it the whole time, and then all of a sudden he's limping away. Then he starts walking straight. You know what I mean, or something like that. That all of a sudden he comes around the corner, his hair slicked back like Pat Riley. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? Yes. So I don't know. I don't think Victor's lying. He just seems too. I would say
earnest,
traumatized.
Yeah, too traumatized, too much of a kid, too like innocent. I was gonna say like earnest, innocent. He's got that little. I mean, maybe but to your point, maybe he could have that shift. He could have that Kaiser Soze kind of shift. And I love how we've talked about The Usual Suspects for this long because the name of the podcast, we've still yet to spoil that movie. So if you haven't seen it, it's a really good movie.
It's just I like I just thought of something. What if the dogs were dragging the tent with Boyd and Sarah in it? That's I never thought of that myself. But I would say that's 100% possible.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That it was the dogs that dragged the tent. They could have did it like a bobsled. They could have definitely done
Could have
it in
been like
drag.
Jamaica. It's a bobsled team. Sorry, I'm thinking
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, the dogs be bobsled and shit. And those, it could have been the dogs. I think that's really good.
That's I actually really do like that. Tony, we do have our first voicemail, and hopefully it
Woo-hoo!
won't be our last. Keep calling on in
Yeah, make
781.
sure when you do call in, say who you are so we know who we're talking to. You go say where you're from too. Love to hear that.
And this is area code 850.
Yeah, this is Jerome. I'm calling from Tallahassee, Florida. Yeah, my theory is that Boyd will have a love interest that'll come in with the bus that came in. That's my theory.
Okay, so do you we've talked about
You said
Kenny?
Boyd?
Yeah, Boyd. Do you think
All
that
right.
Boyd will have a love interest next season to add the drama and add to his situation?
I don't know if he will. I mean, we know the Kenny situation. The bus is from the same town that was mentioned as the chick that Kenny want to hit. His fiance is from. So if anyone is going to be there, it seems like that's what it would be. As for Boyd, I don't know if they would do that in season 2. They just talked about his wife. You've seen him hanging out at the grave. I think it would take him to season 3, 4 to get some ass.
Yeah.
It would have to be something like that. I don't know if they would do that fast for him. Hey, your wife's dead. Here's a bitch for you.
Shows have done that, but I agree with you. And this is a question that I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but I'm curious of your take. How long do you think Boyd stays out of town? Do you think the first part of the season is a flood? Some people die. There's some changeover. How soon do we get back to not everyday life, because it's never going to be normal, but Boyd in town, working through the townspeople, catching up everybody with everything's going on? Do we see that at all next season, or is Boyd separate the whole time, or do we see him get back to town in the first couple of episodes? What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, well, she said when he was out there with Sarah and he was about to give up, he said, listen, Sarah, one of us have to make it out and one of us have to make it back. And then Sarah said to him, we can both make it back. And then that's when the boy in white came and said, get in the tree. So I think they'll be back when the season starts. I think.
Right. Okay. So you think episode 1, Boyd's back in town somehow?
I think he's in some chimney in town right now. I think they both make it back, because specifically, you listen to what he said specifically. He says, one of us has to make it out, one of us has to make it back. And then she says, we can both make it back, get into this tree. So I don't think that's a coincidence. And then she said, I'll be right behind you. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. I think he's back. They're both back in town. I think they may find Sarah first and think, what the hell are you doing alive? Grab her up.
Right. And be like, you
discover Boyd.
Exactly. Be like, you killed Boyd, have her, then suddenly Boyd busts out of a chimney or something like that. He's like, she didn't kill me. I'm fine. I'm fine, guys. Don't kill her.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. You know what I mean? That Boyd, but I think he's already back in the episode, without a doubt. I think he's right off the bat. You're going to, as Jess says, that girl's fiance is going to show up. There's no doubt. Kenny ain't getting no ass.
1,000%.
Kenny's done. Yes, we're gonna get this actor Kenny on here, and I'm gonna tell him. I'm telling you, I'm gonna bring him on here, this actor, and I'm gonna tell him right in his face when he gets on here, like, Kenny ain't getting no ass. All right, this is, don't go practicing the scenes with this chick. Like, hey, just in case this is gonna happen, maybe we should go through some lines together. Yeah. And there ain't gonna be no lines for you,
You're not
man.
Fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody. There is
no lines for you, man. It's all over. Kenny ain't getting done. Kenny's done. That's
people in the live chat are heading towards talking about the bus. How many people do we think is going to be the bus? Bus is going to bring drama. Can't wait to see the new actors. So there's a lot of questions within this. Will the bus? I've heard this question before that we've seen it out there. I don't know if we've addressed it. Will the bus bring in another named actor? Will we see other faces we know on that bus? How many people will be? Will the amount of people be on? I'm throwing out a bunch of things. Feel free to touch on any of this. Will the amount of people on the bus be equal to the amount of people that already died in the town? we can call that bus the cock block, says Quan. Great. That's perfect. And then the last one, obviously, I'll answer this one. Will Kenny's girlfriend's girlfriend be on the bus? Yes, 100 million billion %. There's a 0% chance that she's not on the bus.
Bro, she's on the bus. That is a given. That is a known fact that she's on the bus.
Will there be another lost? I've said it before. I want to see I want to see the perfect combination. Like I want to get bingo on my card, and I want to see Adebisi, Mr. Echo
How do
show
we
up.
pronounce this name here?
His that Yane Gamma. I thought you were going to ask me how to pronounce Mr. Echo and Adebisi's name.
I got the Gamma.
Yeah. We'll call her Gamma.
We'll go with Gamma. We'll go with Gamma with that. But no, so listen, there could be no one on the bus. There could just be the driver of the bus. The driver of the bus could have been just going back to the depot to pick somebody up. But as Phil said before the show ended and everything else, it's a great way to always bring in new actors the way they do it. They always will have a chance to bring in new characters and recycle the cast whenever they get bored of these people or they feel like these people have ran their course. They could always bring in new people with new, fresh ideas and everything else and all that. So I think that that's always going to be a great thing. I think that there has to be a rival to challenge Boyd's power coming in there soon.
Yeah,
there has to be someone else who wants to take over this town. That's always, especially if you go through The Walking Dead, you could always see every time that there's always somebody who wants to take over everything. People just can't get along. Boyd's been ruling this thing for a long time with no one confronting him. So I think that there has to be someone else in there to take over.
Yeah, and to go on that point, Jay Hall, there's got to be a politician, somebody that craves power. And honestly, I think I'll say it again just because I want that. I'm going to try to will this to happen. I met Adebisi from Oz. We partied hard. I think he would work in that role. Him coming in and trying to challenge Boyd for power. He did something similar in Oz. If you watched Oz in that context, not with that character, but with other characters, and he can play really intelligent, slimy, crafty, and very intimidating and very charismatic too, like as the cock merchant and stuff like that. So he can play a lot of different hats, and he's not really doing anything if I know so. So yes, I'm saying bring Adebisi on the show. That would be as Boyd's rival.
That would be great to bring in Adebisi or Chuck Zito.
Yeah, bring in some Oz people, bring in some Lost people, and we'll have some fun. We do have another voicemail. This is a longer one, so we may pause during your message to get points, but honestly, keep them coming, as long of messages as you want. I think it cuts off at a few minutes, but if you ever get cut off, you can definitely call back in. This is from area code 914.
Stacy from NYC. Just really laughing my ass off at after you guys were talking about they like to draw to said, and I'm thinking maybe that answers the question as to where has he been getting these crayons from for the past 40, 50 years, because he's stealing it from them. Maybe that's what's causing them to be in such an uproar. And as far as the Boyd White goes, have you guys looked at it from like a Sixth Sense type of perspective, where what the camera isn't showing you doesn't mean that something isn't happening in that particular way, like Sarah being told to kill the boy, or Abby seeing something off in the distance? It could all be the Boy in White, but we're just not seeing it from that particular perspective.
I'm going to play the rest of the message, but let's touch on this for a second. Oh, absolutely, 100%. I could see this show, and again, what someone said in the chat, Gama said, I think part of it is we're like, there's certain things I'm pretty sure, like Kenny's not getting asked. Sometimes we'll be hyperbolic and say, yeah, we're sure this is going to happen and stuff, but yeah. So I don't know. What do you think, Tony, about what?
Yeah, I think that when you deal with the Boy in White, it's everything that we see always has something else. You know what I mean? It's always some type of
mystery.
extra twist to it, right? It's nothing's ever just straight out. So we are seeing the boy in white from one perspective, but is he actually doing something
Right.
else?
What I was gonna say, I wouldn't be surprised. This is totally a show that seems like it could be smart enough to have a different perspective. Like next season can start off. We're probably not going to get this, but from the monsters' perspective, and it's not the monsters aren't exactly what we thought. It's a different thing altogether, and looks at the people that get into the town as an invader, and someone else is controlling both sides.
Oh yeah,
It could be something crazy. We could be looking at this from a completely
it's
different
definitely two alien species. There's definitely alien species involved. It's definitely two different species. The monsters attacking, and then there's something above the monsters. I mean, they said it like she said. Sarah said with the voice that was talking to us that there's something out here worse than
Yep.
the monsters. Now, that voice talking to her could be the boy in white at that particular time, because this was a voice that came as a woman this time. It never came as a woman before. And I said, as I say in that video, go back, watch the video that's put up. When Sarah was told to kill the boy, I do believe that she was told to kill the boy in white, and she got confused.
Yeah.
And it really was just, she thought it was Ethan, because you can see what it happens to her inside the restaurant. She looks at her arm. It says that as soon as she says that, she looks up, she sees Ethan, and then she goes into seizures. Then she has a seizure right after. She falls on the floor and has a seizure. As I said, there's a connection between the people who can speak to the boy in white and people who have seizures. All three people who had seizures in this show are the only people that are able to speak to the boy in white. And that can't just be a coincidence.
No.
Ethan had a seizure, Victor had a seizure, and Sarah had a seizure. There's no other reason for them all to have seizures. They're the only people that could talk to them. So something's going on there with them, whether he's causing them, because every time they come after seizure, they have some type of dream and everything else. You know what I mean? So it's no way that this is a coincidence.
Before we get back to the voicemail, I want to take a couple of live chats. I'm Staying Gold says, are the monsters unkillable? Why not try to fight them harder? Have we ever seen someone put up at least a decent fight against one of these things, Tony?
Well, they shot him, and I mean, if the bottom line is this, right? If you shoot something and it doesn't do anything, I don't think your next instinct is to kick it.
Yeah. It's to get the F out of there. I don't know why I said F out.
He had put a bullet. Oh, you took that bullet, but you won't take this. I think if you shoot something, that shit don't go nowhere. That's time that you gotta run now, right? I gotta go.
And I totally agree about we've heard somebody say there's worse things than the monsters, and I don't think they were talking about the spiders. There's definitely something else out there. So let's get back to this voicemail. Keep the voicemails coming. Keep the chats coming. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. This is area code again 914.
They could probably in the future, show the same scene and then just input the boy in white as being the cause for all of the visions that people are pretty much seeing, except for the soldier and Jade's vision, but all the other ones. And could it be possible that Earth got sucked in by a black hole, and this is just like a fragment of like a blown apart world, spinning around in the event horizon of a black hole, instead of it being aliens, we're just,
we're the
obliterated
aliens
into actual outer space. And this is just a pocket of reality that's left from fragments of the Earth. Just thoughts.
I think that he's trying to say it's aliens without saying it's aliens. Everything. Well, they're in outer space. They're just in the pocket dimension, but it's not. Listen.
Yeah, that's what was trying to talk you out of your aliens. Maybe we're the aliens. What's this?
Well, we're in outer space. We're in a dimension. Just a little piece.
Play it as the ape center here. Yeah,
if you're gonna go on that, just say it, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Just agree. Just agree. Let's go with it, man.
Oh my goodness.
It's There's definitely something going on there. It's most likely aliens when it all comes down to it. I guarantee you that. It's good. When it's
I,
most likely aliens, there's no doubt about that.
Cody, people want you to eat that chip. We have one more voicemail right now, but you guys can definitely keep them coming. 781-990-8509. This is area code 612. Let's do it.
Hey, Jay Hall from Minneapolis. Great stream again, fellas. My only thing is, I'm not pushing back on anything right now. I'm not going to say anything about the aliens. But when we see the boy in white when the rain's coming, everybody's saying like he was in a physical form because he was getting wet. I'm still thinking to a collective consciousness, and he was only getting wet because they were in the rain. What do you think about that? I know you're not going to agree with it, but it's okay. Good stream, fellas. Appreciate it.
Cody, are you not going to agree with that?
No, I'm not going to agree with it. I understand what you're saying. So you're saying that because they were wet, had to see something wet. I think that they made it wet for a reason. If the show was, if he was really a ghost or wasn't physically there, they wouldn't have made him wet. They would have made they had him get wet for a reason. I think that is to show you that he's physical. Another thing about him being physical is the dogs. And I put this in the video. The dogs are always around the boy in white to protect him. If he couldn't be hurt, there'd be no reason to have those dogs there. But every time you see the dogs that come, it's always there to protect the boy in white. So why does he need dogs there to protect him if it was just if he was some supernatural being? So and the dogs we know are real because we've seen Victor shoot the gun in the air and scare the dogs away. So I think when you add it all up, only thing that makes people think he's a ghost is that he has this ability to disappear. But if he has control of the technology of this faraway tree, he can just disappear without the tree. And I think that's how he's just getting away. And that's what makes it seem like he's supernatural, but he truly isn't supernatural. He just knows how to disappear. He has this teleportation technology, and that's why they can't get him.
Jay adds, but they say dogs see things that aren't really there. And I will say this about
I'd say the dogs may see it, but do you think that these dogs been around since the 70s? Right? When Victor first got there, the dogs were there. Right? So these dogs are still there. It's the same dogs that were there all the time with the boy in white. So these dogs most likely from the same time frame he was there with his pets, and they probably got experimented on too, and they both got escaped and got out of there. Most likely the boy in white was an experiment. They experimented on him. He got this ability and somehow he escaped.
And maybe got powers of some sort or
they did something to him doing this experiment, and he figured out, or he has the powers to do this teleportation stuff. He bounced with the dogs, and they've been chasing him and stalking him ever since then. They could have had all these monsters out there to get his ass, and that could be the reason why they're out there. You know what I mean?
What I do like about what Jay Hall said, and I agree with this.
Says, "Okay, we friends again."
I like the collective consciousness thing, and when it comes to the monsters that we've seen before, I wouldn't be surprised if they were controlled by some sort of queen of some sort. I've heard this theory a few times floated. What if it's a hidden reality game show? What if all of this is some Squid Game kind of thing?
The fact that they said that Jade brought up, that it was some type of game, I think that shows that it's not. I think they bring up things that people think and tell you it. Just like when people said they're in purgatory and they had Tabitha go ask the pastor that. And the pastor said, no, I've heard this 1,000 times. So when I'm saying that I heard it 1,000 times, he's basically saying, yeah, I knew this theory was going to pop up and we don't want you to think this anymore. Let's get that out. Let's just knock this right out.
The writers make sure they know that that they're aware of the theories. And then we saw a bunch of people in the live chat while we were talking about the boy in white that said that they think the boy in white is a projection of some sort. The boy in white is the boy in the white is a hologram.
And it can't be a hologram if he's wet.
The boy in white doesn't seem to physically be there. He seems more like a projection from elsewhere.
Again, we just talked about that. It's impossible for him not to physically be there if he was getting wet. He was soaking wet. He was soaking wet. You know what I mean? And
I was
so
laughing at the super chat from Kelly Johnson.
could those monsters get them hands? They could get them, and they would get them. But most likely they're gonna get these feet because I'm out. Anything that walks, hey, you got no chance against me. All right. If you just walk, unless you're like a speed walker, you know what I mean? The guys who do that speed walking shit, you're not catching me. I'm fleet of foot. I'm gone, and that's it. By the time you catch up, it'll be an hour. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Speedy Gonzalez. We got a bunch of texts to get to right now. This is area code 773 that says, I predict Kenny will be involved in a love triangle, but will sadly end up still being single. I
see. This is the whole thing, and
poor Kenny.
Everyone has this dream, this fantasy of these kind of how could I say it? And I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't know, lipstick type of lesbians type situation. I think that I don't think the girlfriend's coming in is bisexual in any way. I think the girlfriend who's coming in here, when she comes in there, I think that she's gonna be straight lesbian. So I don't think that there's gonna be any chance of that going on whatsoever. I think that she's coming in lesbian, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I don't think she's bisexual. I think she's coming in straight lesbian. So I think it's just gonna be beef. That's just straight up. This chick's gonna hate Kenny because she's gonna realize what's going on, and there ain't gonna be no chance. Like, oh, that's cool. You've been showing my girl this whole time. Let's all just get it on. Oh, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
this is mine. It's my fiance. I came searching for her, and that's just what it is now. So
it's gonna be like the boyfriend coming to college and seeing that dude that's been hanging out with his girlfriend all semester, and he's like, stay the fuck away. Like it's gonna be very antagonistic, I think.
Exactly.
Area code 907 adds the idea that the monsters are immune to harm is a little unsatisfying. What do you think the chances that they discover a method similar to a talisman to injure, kill a monster? I'm going to lead Tony into this because I know he thinks that sometime next season they will catch one of these things, right?
Yeah, that's the way it's going to have to happen. So you've seen it already, right? They made a box already, and that was if you did wrong, they put you in the box and let the aliens come and get you, right? So they understood that. They didn't realize that if you close all four doors with the talisman in there, the alien couldn't get that. They showed that with Fatima, right? And they showed that with Ellis, how she saved Ellis. You put those two things together and you have a person inside the box. I don't know if you guys ever watched a movie. There's a movie called The Ghost in the Darkness. And this is what they did to catch one of these lions. They had someone in the box, and then when the lion came into the box, it stepped on the thing, it snapped the door in back of them and snapped them inside there. And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to put them in the box, and when they come in, it's going to close in there, and there'll be a talisman on each side, and then they'll catch one of them in there. And then once they catch one of them in there, then that's when they'll figure out exactly. You got to. This is the only way you're going to know. Then you figure out how to kill these motherfuckers, right? You got to catch one of those motherfuckers, and you got to either expose it to sunlight and see it dies, stab it a couple of times, whatever you got to do. But you figure it out before he gets out of there how to kill him.
Treat that shit like a gremlin. Put it out in the sun, stab it, throw it in the microwave, do whatever you can. I mean, you got to assume that they're not just going to stand by after the radio incident happened and when Boyd gets back into town after seeing all this. They're gonna come up with a next plan. And the next plan, logically, in my mind, seems to lead, I agree with you, to we need to catch one of these things. We need to see what the hell's really going on. We need to see if we can kill these things because we can't find a path out of this. And also, we need to get inside that lighthouse. Yeah, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
I saw that movie about 2 killer lions in Africa. Yes, it was. That was a really good movie. If anyone hasn't seen that movie, The Ghost in the Darkness, true story too. The Ghost in the Darkness, true story. Val Kilmer and the guy who married Kirk Douglas's son, Michael Douglas.
Oh, Michael Douglas. Yeah, no, I was going to ask you if it was a Michael Douglas movie. I kind of remember that. It blends in with some other stuff too. And we have one other text from 504. I finally made it to one of these. Already answered my question before, but this time you can spend a little bit more time on it. Why didn't the townspeople ever make weapons out of the talismans? Do you think that's a possibility? I mean, I think Tony just mentioned a
Yeah, we
situation.
talked about that. That was the first one. That was the first question you had from the other night.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the best way to use them as a weapon is kind of what Tony just spelled out in a use to capture them and use them in those actions. Because other than what, as Tony said, you can craft it, the top of it, make a shib out of it if we're going to keep talking about Oz, or you can cut pieces of it off and put it on arrowheads or something like that. But then it turns into something that we've talked about a few weeks ago, I believe. Is it the design on the talisman, or is it the actual item itself? What is causing the protection? Is it the physical item, like the properties within the item itself, or is it the shit that's written on it?
Yeah, and we know that it's not the stuff written on it because we're seeing the same symbols downstairs where they sleep at. So it has to be the actual rock itself that does it and everything else. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be to capture them, but not to actually physically hurt them. And they'll figure all that out once they capture one, but they will use those talismans to capture it. Kirby said the lions are in Chicago Museum of Natural History. Yeah, those lions are badass. It was if anyone don't know, I don't want to give away the movie, but it was these two lions who were hanging out and they were killing people for sport and stacking their bodies up in caves, just going out to kill people, just to do it. And that was just the bottom line. They were just in there just to kill them. That's the way the lions were getting down. So Jackie C says space rocks. Yeah, it's definitely some type of kryptonite, without a doubt. It's definitely some type of kryptonite. Without a shadow of a doubt, the way that it affects Superman, kryptonite, it's definitely something like that going on with them, without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm with you, because you look at the rock in the cave, you can see there's a definite difference of the rock on the side of the wall than the rocks in the cave. You know what I mean? And we seen from that too that it doesn't have to be a physical wall, right? It was just vines in front of him. And they wouldn't come in there with the rocks because of the vines. They didn't want to be around. So they didn't want to be around. That just shows you they didn't want to be around that rock for whatever reason. They didn't want to get in the vicinity of that rock. Because if not, they would have just walked through there. They didn't even try to go through the vines. They knew them rocks was in there. And they said, we ain't going up in there. So the rocks have to do so. There have to be maybe some type of there's radiation on it or something it's giving off that's making them say, no, we ain't run up in there.
Great name, Yvette Yancey. Like it.
Yes.
Poetic. Catch one like in I Am Legend, perform all sorts of experiments to figure out how to figure out how to kill them, taking a talisman to break it into pieces, put it in arrows, and ab shot them with it, save it into two weapons. So,
why's it gotta be the
oh, it's gonna be abs.
Maybe it's right. You know, get it right in the abs. They gotta catch him in the abs for it.
Maybe that's the weak point. It's like Achilles' heel on them or something.
But yeah, you have to perform all type of experiment. Once you got one, and I hope they get either the milkman or Howdy Doody. I want Howdy Doody or the milkman to be caught. One of them bastards, all right? That's who you have to experiment.
I want it to be Howdy frickin' Doody. Get that guy out of there.
Yeah, Howdy Doody has to go. Or, you know, it might be the chick that killed Porn Stash. They might bring her back. It might be her that they kill. You know what I mean? And that's it. So, you know, in the end, you have to torture them. It doesn't matter if you cut off that pinky toe, whatever it is, you got to figure out how to kill these bastards. And that's just the way it is. But I want Howdy Doody going. Michelle Hayes, look how violent these people are, Michelle Hayes. Would you rather a groin shot?
I know, groin shot.
Yeah, I bet you that Michelle Hayes has given that groin shot to many people. It seems it came out too quick when she typed it. Like she seems like someone who has.
She had that on cut. She had that on cut and paste. She just
She's given the groin shot before. Seems like that she's experienced in this matter of tactics before these groin shots and stuff.
Quan says abs is better than the crotch. Howdy for sure with that face. Yeah, exactly. Get him in the abs.
I would like we gotta interview Howdy Doody's ass.
Yeah. No, I mean I might close my eyes during that one, but we'll do that. We get another message from 914. So let's check this out.
JT from NYC again. I just figured something out, which is I don't know where they are, but pun intended, I think I do have figured out where they are from.
Sorry,
I think that we
good.
have only seen people enter the town and know that they can't escape once they see the tree is down. Never know at what particular point they enter in to this particular loop. We just know when they can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we don't know what their life was like before they entered. And going further on this theory is basically, since we don't know what their life was like before they entered into the loop, it could be something totally, completely different than their consciousness is telling them that their life was.
I'm going to play the rest of your message because
I'm not understanding it.
I think what he's saying is, and again, clean me up, call back in, clarify if I'm wrong. I think what he's saying is once they get into the town, their brains become severed. They forget what happened in their former life. Possibly they could have forgotten what happened in their former lives, and they maybe only know the moment after. And we'll play the rest of your message as well, but that they only know the moment after they realize they're blocked in by the trees, and we never actually see those moments. What he was saying made me think of Severance for some reason.
Yeah, but if it's that case, that can't be true because the priest told you exactly everything that happened to him before he got there and how he got there. Everyone knows the story. You heard the chick inside the house that runs the house, the colony house. She told the story how she got there and how her sister was killed right before they went in there. We heard the story of how Boyd wanted the boat and everything else. We knew that story before he got there. So it seems like they do know.
And I could be misunderstanding the call.
Yeah, he's lost me a little bit with it. But so I would say that you're correct. We don't know exactly what point. We know the tree falls down. They turn back around the road. And then they turn back around, they enter this town, and that's it. Listen, these motherfuckers is lazy. All right. Because I get out the car and just hop the fucking tree and keep going.
Right? Yeah, we didn't get on an axe, start chopping through there.
Listen. I mean, like, listen. This is what they play on the laziness of motherfuckers, right? The motherfuckers so lazy. They're like, these fuckers ain't gonna get out. They're just gonna turn around. I'm hopping that motherfucker. I'm like, yo, y'all stay here. I'm gonna hop this motherfucker. Go find the axe. I'll be right back. And I'm gone.
Yeah. Do we have a charged chainsaw in town now? Oh, Kirby. Thank you, Kirby.
Thank you, Kirby, for the super sticker. 10 beans.
And the sticker is a bean superhero flying. That's it.
See, I know I can't see the super sticker.
Yeah. I can see it.
Thank you. Yeah, hop that motherfucker. Hop that bitch. You know what I mean? Just keep going and stuff.
I'm gonna say I'll contact the guy in town that can start the fires, start a fire, do something.
Do something. I'm hopping that fucking log.
I know Smokey the Bear tells me not to start forest fires, but I can make an exception for this situation.
Yeah, because you see the Matthews, when they sat there, the crows all of a sudden went on the trees and they got scared. They seen the crows and got scared of the crows. All right, let's go back inside. I don't give a fuck about a bird. All right, I'm gone. Unless it's some type of like bird that could kill me. The crows I ain't worried about. Unless you're dead or something, I would be out of here.
Unless you're the three-eyed crow, maybe. So let's listen to the rest of the message.
Before they entered in, and it could basically be like Jade and his friend were undercover detectives chasing Ethan and his family because the two kids were kidnapped by the mother and father, you know, are like grifters or something like that. And now they enter in and now they have new histories, you know, new consciousness.
I love what this
of
show
what
does to
their
people.
life was like, but that's not actually what their life was like. And, you know, could explain, you know, they're in a high speed chase of why two different cars entered at one particular point and, you know, it being abnormal. All right, thanks.
Yeah, I don't think that Jade and them were, you know what I mean, like
Undercovers.
undercover cops or anything like that.
hunting the little kid. But what I mean, I see where you're going with it. And you're using like, and I think maybe I was right about your theory of the idea that it could be separate. I don't think that's the case, but I think if you're saying that to make the point that anything's possible from perspective changes on this show, I think in that's definitely a possibility. Not what you said, but like the fact that we could see things from different perspectives at different times in something outrageous like that, like that the monsters
Well,
and the
I got something to combat that. I'm gonna in 1 second, but let me get rid of some of this stuff I have.
Kirby, I just need to put this. Thank you, Kirby. You got my $20 sending you to put this in the comment section. I'll live on this for one more day until Miami goes up 2-0, and then I gotta shut my mouth.
Well, listen, I don't think that that's gonna be the case. I think that game was what it was.
No, I mean we're not to go down too far down the road, especially losing Smart for that game, who's their primary
let me see if
ball
I can
handler
share.
and point guard.
Let me see if I can share the screen. Let me see if I can find this. Where did I put? I got so much stuff open.
We
here.
just got another. Do you want me to play one more voicemail while you're setting up?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, this is area code 757, and keep the voicemails coming. 781-990-8509. Here's 757. Let me do something.
Hi, I'm Tanya from New York, and as you can hear, I am very hoarse,
Oh.
but I'm enjoying the show, and I have one question. Since y'all two are movie buffs, can you go into what lighthouses mean historically in movies? Because the lighthouse is a very specific place, and maybe there's a meaning, and they took it from all the movies in the world. That's all. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Specifically, what lighthouses mean in movies? Do you have any movie buffs?
I mean, ultimately, a lighthouse can mean something you see. I think the most use I see with lighthouses is when you're in the water, for the actual use of it. If it's some sort of on the water movie, and you start to see it as a beacon in the future. I don't know, like a specific metaphoric meaning for a lighthouse. I think, other than possibilities and understanding like vision, being able to see something and focus on it. Let me think about that one. That's a good one to ponder. The dudes, let the dude ponder this. A beacon of hope, Emily says. Vince says you got to be illuminated, something to light the way. I mean, I think it's what I would know is more of the obvious in there. I mean, you could say the side of the mountain has a giant cock or something like that, but I don't think it's something like that. But that this world is going to fuck Boyd because we see a giant. But I don't know. I think it's a good question, very interesting, and I hope your voice recovers. But we'll see what people in the live chat. Lighthouses can be.
I think a lighthouse would be more of a beacon. You know, it's just trying to show you that there's a way out. You know what I mean? I'm really trying to get this thing.
Yeah, I know. I can tell you're.
It's like I don't know
But
why. That's not.
The image results for what do lighthouses mean in movies. The lighthouse combines mythology and mood to tell a story about people who don't understand themselves, says Lady Starfall. Like the fires of Prometheus, nabbed from the gods, the light at the top of the tower represents everything. All knowledge, and looking into it, Thomas understood everything at once. So it can mean sort of a discovery of knowledge and understanding to tell a story about people who don't understand themselves. Okay, I mean that definitely can play into the From thing, and where all these people don't really understand who they are or why they're there in these situations. Lady Starfall in the live chat, proving to be the true movie buff in this situation, offering up an actual answer for the caller. So thank you so much. And as Christina says, God bless Google. God, it's true. It's true.
There's no doubt about it.
I remember, just to go to quick aside to give Tony a little bit more time. I remember with dudes when I was younger, where you get into an argument with somebody and you'd get into like one of those over a drink or over a smoke screaming matches about one little piece of a factoid, and you'd have to like go to the library. I remember many times going with my drunk buddies with money on the table, going to a library to get an encyclopedia to look up the information to see who wins the fucking bet. So that's the biggest thank you, Google, for helping us do that.
All right, so let me see if I can possibly get it now. Maybe I can. Let me try. I'm trying.
Tanya says, I think the majority of lighthouses in movies are evil or looming. Yeah, you could say, and you could almost say that the villain in the Lord of the Rings movies is a lighthouse, is a giant beacon of a lighthouse with a giant eye. I mean, I know it's not quite a lighthouse, but it has some elements of that. So you can look at that if you think evil in that context of lighthouses. I can definitely see some analogy.
I don't know why I can't open up. I don't know why I can't open these things up. I really can't. Let me see if I can just do it a different way then. Let's take a second now to do it this way.
Will it let you like screen grab it or something?
Yeah, it just won't let me do it. I don't know why all of a sudden it won't let me do it. But let me just go to.
And yes, Vince, Encyclopedia Britannica was my friend. Also, like the World Book encyclopedias. They had this book. It was like a coffee table book that was the year in review, like everything in 1984, and it had like every factoid. You know, who won the championship, who won all the awards, Best Picture, all these movies, and then all this other information. You know, the tides for every city. And it was, I think it was like the book of the year. It was like a book like this says, "Let the Lord of the Black Lands stand forth and have justice down upon him," says Kirby. "Realizing you're in a dangerous place and boats shouldn't come. I think the majority of lighthouses, it's a literal representation of navigation, according to Google," says Emily. And I love how everyone Googles and is coming up with slightly different information. Let me stall a little bit more time and read a couple of text messages here. This is Steve from Maine. "The rocks have to be a rule they follow. The rocks don't stop them if you invite them in." Just a thought. Okay, do you think, and I know, Tony, you're multitasking, but do the talismans protect them if Porn Stash had a talisman hanging out on the window, would it have mattered that he invited her in?
I think that we talked about this a little bit, that I think that it's going to come down to one putting it on as a necklace on their neck. That I think that it's the talismans that they can't mess with. So I do believe that if you rocked it as a necklace, that you would be protected.
Yeah. And so yeah, I don't think it has to do necessarily with the vampire inviting them in. This is area code 907. This says, maybe they could learn about their situation if they tried a dialogue with the monsters about their common situation. We're trapped, you're trapped. Let's try to bust out of here. Could you see any alliance?
I think that you heard them say it straight up. You know, the monster said to him, "It's not my fault," right? So when Porn Stash was talking to the one, and she said, you know, he didn't want to let her in, and she said, "It's not my fault that I'm this way." And I think that's the closest thing that you get to know that somehow they were turned this way. Somehow they were put to this, and it's not their fault that they are this way, but that's just the way they are.
Yeah.
Also, she said that, you know, when he touched her, he said, you know, she goes, "You're warm." And she goes, "What did you expect me to be, cold?" So that right there, I think, takes away the vampire theory and them being dead. Because everyone knows that vampires are cold, right? Because their blood ain't pumping through them.
Right.
So
and also ghost, dead, cold kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think that's just showing that they're actually alive. These creatures are alive too. So I think that was the reason why those things will come up. But what I was trying to pull up, and I can't pull up right now, is the Wanted the missing posters for all of them. Like if you look and see, I have all of the missing posters, which proves that they were out there in the world and they are missing and stuff like that. So and it says in the missing posters what they were. Like when Jade's missing poster, it says tech billionaire, missing in the poster. So he's not a cop. And then all of a sudden got in here, now all of a sudden thinks he's a tech billionaire. The missing poster says he's a tech billionaire. So that's what he really was. He's just not no one doing anything like that,
Sorry, basketball questions. What are the chances that Milwaukee Bucks 2020 championship T-shirts are now with up the next group of goats? I love when people print up championship. That would be like, I know how convinced Tony is right now, but that would be like if Tony went out and printed up a T-shirt that said that from they're aliens, deal with it, or something like that.
I would do it because that's how confident I know this is what it is. And that's what it is. The only way it's not going to be this is if the showrunners are watching this show and they're mad at me too. So they're just like, oh, we got to change it. But I ain't worried about that. You know what I mean? I ain't worried
Yeah,
about
but you're not river dancing till you get confirmation. You're not doing it. You're not dancing.
No, I'm not doing the river dance. You're only going to get the river dance once. And when I do the river dance for you, you know what I mean? Then you'll see, because it definitely is aliens in the end, and that's just the bottom line. You'll see.
Alien merch coming soon.
My man, Big Vince in the building, rocking with us as always, man, rocking with us and stuff. And thank you all the people. Listen, y'all still here strong. I tell you, we here every week talking about this show, and that's a testament to show you how good this show is and how people are still enthralled over it. Usually you do a show, Phil will tell you, the show ends, people don't come back no more.
Nope.
That's the end of it. No, it ends. I could show you my Dexter videos. I couldn't do a Dexter stream right now because
it's not the same people every week, but every week we're getting more of the people that show up that were with Tony early in the season and with me and Tony later in the season. Joining us different evenings we do this because it is off season and people aren't gonna be locked to it, but it is a show that creates a lot of possibilities, and it's fun that we do have a second season and we can keep doing these as long as you guys want to come out here and keep calling in and keep sharing thoughts. Tony and I will be out here every Wednesday anyway doing something, so we'll keep From going on. If you guys want us to keep chatting about this each week, different theories, and if you have any topic ideas, put them in the comment section.
Definitely, we'll go through them all. Any topic ideas, anything you want to talk about, we definitely will talk about, and everything else. We'll be here every week, every Wednesday, same time. You could write it down. We'll be here, and we'll be talking. As long as you're willing to talk about it, we'll be here to talk to you about it, and that's it. Once it drops to like 10 people, then we'll see you next week.
As long as there's like 50 people and more here, it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, once it drops to 10 people, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, it's the shows that I stream when I have like 15 to 20 people. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do this show anymore.
Yeah, that's probably what it's over and stuff,
Okay, Lady Starfall. I wanted to watch this show as well because I'm a big fan of the movie. It's one of my favorite movies, and obviously I think the Don Tony Teflon, if you see some of his intro stuff, I've never talked to Tony about this movie, but we probably should do something eventually about it. The Godfather and Godfather 1 and 2 are two of my favorite movies. I know they're not everyone's favorite movies, and people say, oh, I like this mob movie better. I'm not putting it. They're sort of a comfort movie for me. When I'm sick, I put them on. They're like 4 hours long. They're just real, really, I very much love them. But there's a show on Paramount Plus called The Offer about the creation of the movie, and I haven't checked it out yet.
I was supposed to check it out, but I have so much I haven't had it. But I keep hearing great things about it. Amen. It's great.
It's a series on Paramount Plus. Yeah, I'll check. I will definitely check it out at some point. Sure.
Because you guys said so. There's shows that I like to watch, and there's shows that I can actually cover on this channel. I like a lot of things, but I can't cover it. And if it don't get enough views, it takes a while. These videos take a while to create. It's not like you just put it up there and done in 10 minutes. It takes a while. So it has to be something that people are watching, responding to, that I could do it. But I definitely will get around to watching it without a shadow of a doubt. The Staircase, I wanted to do it, but I'm kind of covered on the channel, but I know it's only going to be one season. So I already dealt with Mayor of Easttown, the one season things. So I don't know if I'm willing to do a show that's only there for one season again. And that's the reason why I haven't done it. I was gonna do the time traveler's wife because Rose Leslie is in it from Game of Thrones. I was gonna do that, but we'll see if that. I'll put a video out about it, and we'll see where it goes. And stuff.
Now, Tony, this is from 907. We've talked about the potential awesome things in season 2 of From, but what is something the showrunners could do that would ruin things for you guys in season 2? What could start off and you were like, uh-oh, this is going in a bad direction? I know my answer, that we constantly every season never get any big answers, and they're always just little breadcrumbs, and they never actually answer what they are, why this is happening, and it's more you just get small answers like next time we don't see a lighthouse, we see a treehouse. And we get, oh my God, it's the treehouse area. It's the next thing. It's the underground tunnels. Oh my goodness. And like every reveal is something like that instead of actually getting some hearty shit. So I would say that's the way the showrunners, if they try to spin their wheels and stretch this out too much or don't actually have a direction for it. I hate to keep using this term, but it's the post-traumatic loss disorder. And if I sniff too much of these guys not knowing what they're doing and just throwing shit on the wall and not having a direction for this, I think that's what will scare me off about the series, because I don't want to be committed to it for 5 seasons and then have it not give me any real answers in the end.
Yeah, they can't do like, all right, you get to the edge of the town and you get sucked back in. You get to the edge of the town, you get sucked back.
Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
You can't keep doing that. You have to go somewhere else with it. You know what I mean? Even if there's 2 towns, they stumble upon another town that's the same exact thing is happening to them. You have to keep introducing new things to it when it's all said and done. So that's what I would need them to do. If they don't do that, then I would not be happy about it at all.
And I think the second season is going to be very important, how they set this up going forward. Vince says, random topic, I like the new Star Trek Strange
Good night,
World.
Michelle Hayes.
And I think you would dig it too. Very next generation, but modern thus far. I've been scared to watch it because of my lack of appreciation for the other Paramount Plus Star Trek series, but I've heard nothing but awesome things about Strange New Worlds. So.
I think that to me, I watched the first episode.
I haven't checked it out yet.
And it's
spoil it away. I don't care.
I'm not going to spoil it. I just say it's okay, but it's campy to me. That's the best way I could say it. It's a little campy to me.
Did you enjoy the Orville?
I did not watch the Orville.
Okay, it's on Hulu if you want to check it out at some point. It's I wonder if it's more comparison to the Orville vibe rather than Discovery or Picard.
It's not Discovery. It's not Picard. It's not that. I don't know if it's as good as those. It's not as good as Discovery. Picard. I don't know. I don't know if it's as good as Picard. I don't know.
Lady Starfall says, I have to say, Teflon TV, one show that I think you would love is Moon Knight.
All right, so I did watch Moon Knight. I watched the whole series of Moon Knight and stuff, and I just can't. It's hard for me, like I said, to put out a She-Hulk video. And the only reason why I did the She-Hulk video is because I love She-Hulk. I've been attracted to She-Hulk since I was a child, so I've always loved She-Hulk. So that's the only reason why I did the video. But I don't get any traction or any type of comic book stuff, so I don't really do videos on comic book stuff. So I like She-Hulk, so I did it. If it's something big like that, like I don't really care how many people watch it. I just wanted to do it for myself.
I love I love how you test the waters with Marvel shit every once in a while, because you're like, I want to talk about this stuff, but I can't. It's like pissing into the ocean and stuff.
Because I see these other YouTubers and they don't know half as much about Marvel as I do. I know everything about it from top to bottom. And but
you're like my cousin Alan. You guys both played that same role-playing game that had the big book with and there's a DC one too that just had all the factoids about the power rankings and all that sort of stuff. You and my cousin Alan would have
5-6 years. I didn't play for a year. I played this shit for like 6 years straight of my life. So I know their power levels and right from the jump, I could recite it, every character.
Those are those people that with Invincible versus Homelander with Omni-Man, they're like, Omni-Man would rip Homelander's head off because he has X power force Z's 5,000 and Homelander's only negative minus and he's drinking milk and he's a pussy. We have another voicemail, area code 845. Sorry.
Hey, what's up? It's Anthony from New York, the Bronx. And I have a theory for that show, From. And well, basically, we all know it's a lighthouse because when the wife was digging the hole and had that little, dream, she was walking up a lighthouse, and then the light moving to the cop with the psycho, the tent. That was a lighthouse light. And then you also heard the boat arriving, and he was talking about a boat with his wife that he had to kill. He was talking about a boat. So it's not aliens. There is a spider, but it's a lighthouse. That light is a lighthouse, I think.
Okay, so
right.
lighthouse boat stuff, not
All
aliens.
right, so
buddy.
let's. I appreciate the call.
Great
I
call. Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you for being from the Bronx. Myself, I'm a Queens, New Yorker, but I lived in the Bronx for a year of my life, so I got love for the Bronx. But I would say that no, you're wrong on this one, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because if you look at the light that hit when it hit the tent, and then you looked how far they had to travel for that light to actually hit them, they were all the way inside of a ravine. Like they had to climb up a mountain. And when they climbed up that mountain, that's when that light, and they finally made it. Look how far they had to walk. They finally made it. They climbed all the way up that mountain. And then they were able to see the light when they got up there. They didn't see the light at any other time during their travel all the way there. So how come they didn't see that light all that time when they was there? How come that wasn't the case? You know what I mean? If that was the case, they would have seen the light traveling, that it was there. So I don't think that actually, I do believe it's a lighthouse, but I don't believe that the light that shined on them when they were in the tent was from the lighthouse. I think
It seems like it might have been too far away. Lighthouse is always a warning. That's another meaning. Absolutely. Lighthouses can be warnings. Vince says, I love this caller's voice. He sounds like a dude in the block with all the info, like Huggy Bear. The show's producers want you to think it's aliens. Think about it, Tony.
No, they don't. They haven't even brought up anything to make you think it was aliens, except for the clues, the hidden clues that I've given you to prove that it's aliens. But they haven't been overtly like, hey, we're trying to push you in the alien direction.
Has there been a moment where they said, and I'm trying to remember because I definitely need to rewatch. Was there a moment where they made a passing joke like they did about a reality show or something else about aliens? Like we're on some spaceship, we're in another planet. I don't think so. Not that I remember.
What they said was the one guy said that they're in a pocket dimension before the lady punched him in the face. That was it.
That's what happens to me every day when I mention pocket dimension.
So that's the only thing as for that, they've never even brought up the word aliens or anything for directly towards the show or anything else like that. You know what I mean? So
now, someone says Tony is convinced they're aliens, but we've discussed if they are. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Sluagh. Slogs.
Irish slogs.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a link.
If it's SLUGH, yes, Irish slugs. We've talked about the Irish slugs before, and listen, I know everyone. Listen, I'm not saying that.
Let me Wikipedia for a second and see what.
I'm not saying that they haven't looked at other mythologies and taken.
This is more of the fairy people that think these guys are fairies, right?
This is the North gods. People think Odin has something to do with it.
Loki and Thor.
If there's crows outside or something like that, so now all of a sudden it's Odin. It thinks.
I mean, it could honestly.
Hey, don't goddamn listen. I guarantee you, Thor's not coming down here throwing a hammer at anybody.
Maybe you don't know.
I guarantee you, it's never gonna happen.
Jackie C says fair. Jackie C always trying to make it work. They could be fairy aliens. They could be fairy vampire aliens.
If you want to say that they're fairies, that that they're aliens, even if it was that would still be aliens because gods are from a different planet, which means that they're aliens. So even if you looked at it that way, it still would be aliens. But in all honesty, it's definitely alien technology. involved in this situation that's going down. There's no doubt about it. It's not magic. People aren't being transported by some magical tree that they got inside or anything like that. It's technology that's transporting them around, and they just don't understand this technology right now. And that's just the way it is.
Christina, I'm going to wait for it to pop up, has the comment of the night. I don't believe in that theory without it. I'm just reading that with such a dry wit right there, Christina. 2 points for Christina right there.
I think that it's, listen, I will say like this. All right. I started my channel doing, Game of Thrones videos, and I've heard every fucking theory that there is in Game of Thrones, and the craziest theories you could ever hear. I've heard, right? I've heard them all.
I think there's an alien theory in Game of Thrones.
And I give respect to anyone who sits down, takes the time to come up with these theories. They're very elaborate. You know what I mean? But doesn't mean they're always right. And I know one guy, I won't say his name, but he's come up with tremendous theories that if it was true, they would be immaculate. But he actually got a chance to meet the author. And when he talked to the author had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah, he laughed at him.
Laughed right at him.
What?
Like, what are you like? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? How much time do you have on your hands right now? So when I come down to it and I say it, when it came down to me dealing with Game of Thrones, I always say it. Look at the theories I came up with that were actually right. They may not be as elaborate and they may not be as spicy, but they right. When I come up with them, they right. Because I don't go all crazy about it. I take what they give me and I go from that. I don't put in there what I think it's going to be. I put what they're showing me. And that's just the bottom line. It's like in Outer Range, if you watch that show from the jump.
I mean, you had certain shows, certain people just have a read. You knew that. You knew what was going on in that show from go.
From the jump. I told you exactly who this chick was from the first video I made on the first one that came out. I told you who this chick was. I gave you all the hints that they gave you to point towards it in every episode. And still people were saying, it's the sister, it's this, it's that. In the end, it was the Don that was right. And that's just the way it's going to be here again. When it's all said and done, I'm going to be right. And y'all going to have to come here and bend the knee. And that's it. I'm here for it. I'm going to be here for it. Don't worry for it. I'll be here.
And then we'll be playing the music and Tony will be doing the dance. I'm almost wanting to play the music right now that Tony's going to be dancing too. Let's take a couple of comments. They need to keep the suspense about the nature of the situation a bit more mysterious. I think they do. And that's the fine line that this series needs to walk, to keep things mysterious while still giving us enough answers to not make us go hungry. They got to give us enough bread to survive here. I'm so curious, says Gamma. I'm so curious how they will bring us answers in season 2. Me as well. I think I said this a couple of times. My biggest curiosity going into the second season is how much do they have planned out? How much did they go into this knowing that they had a second season and they sketch this out? Do they have an idea how long they want the show to go for? Do they have contingency plans if it's a hit, on how they want to stretch it? Is it a specific amount of time? Harold, I know this is his show and he's not going anywhere, but he's also a guy that does want to do multiple projects. It seems like he'd be someone that would sign a 5-year contract and then he'd be like 5 and I'm done.
What is he, 60 years old too?
Yeah, so maybe
he's in his 60s. So when you reach in your 60s, you got to get it in.
Yeah,
this is the time. This is you're in the twilight, in the back 9 of your life when you reach 60.
This is his. Not that he's not going to get more chances in other things. He's been working consistently since Romeo and Juliet. Been getting parts over and over again. But this is the first time he's had a series. And if this hits, I always say this for shows like that. I think this show smells like 5 or 6 seasons for me, no more than that. And they need to balance that give us answers while still keeping the mystery alive. And Kirby also adds that Happy Days and From are in the same universe.
And it could be. I was going to say congratulations to The Bronze Bomber, former heavyweight champion of the world, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, I think did over 10 defenses. Deontay Wilder, they just made a statue of him in his
nice.
hometown of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. A statue of him put up in there. So congratulations for him and his family. They have a statue, but not everyone gets a statue put up on him, right? That's a very big deal. So congratulations to him. And the Don Tony Teflon just happens to be the author of the children's book for Deontay Wilder, which you could purchase anytime you want and support the Don and support Deontay. And thank you very much. That's my plug right there.
Good plug. Good plug.
But congratulations, Deontay. Truly, he's a good guy. He deserves it.
Ooh, someone for Point Towards Aliens. Someone says, area code 207. The motel is called the Star Magic.
That's
One
right.
more for the aliens.
I put that in the video. That's in the video. You can check it out. That point is put in the video.
And Tony, I gotta give you your flowers right there for one of the more organic plugs that you just fit in there. That was so smooth. I was like, oh, cool. Oh, that's a perfect time for the plug.
What we had to, we had to put it in there.
That's good.
Representing the whole time, always representing.
I'm impressed. Yeah, Harold looks great for 60. I would say, if you told me he was in his 40s, I'd buy it. He looks.
Yeah, but when you reach that age, though, you know what I mean. You got to start thinking legacy at this point. And this is his show. It's the first show that he's been able to do that. You know what I mean. So that is what it is. And listen, I'm here for all this. As Vince said, all the tinfoil theories, put them in there. It's all. The best way you come up with things is when you have a think group and everyone tosses their ideas in a hat.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll figure this thing out together. That's just the way it is.
This Prometheus says, I've never seen or heard of aliens consuming the guts of abductees. They're clearly consuming the innards for sustenance.
All right. So, we talking about, when you look
are they eating the people? Do they have to kill people to survive?
They're definitely eating them. So it's just not the guts. They're eating the skin, they're eating the flesh, they're eating every part of their body. So it's just not the guts, But if you look at any animal on this planet, lions, cheetahs, they always consume the innards of the animals first. They dig their heads in there. If you look at vultures, they dig their heads underneath the skin to get at the liver, get at the heart, get at all the innards of the animal. That's what they go for. So I don't think it's far-fetched. You don't have to look for aliens to do it. You have creatures on this planet that do it. So I don't think you really have to go that far. I think that's where you would get the substance from. Human beings, when we eat stuff, we don't eat the flesh. We eat the insides. We eat chitlins, right? If you eat chitlins, eat goddamn pig's feet, right? So no, you consume whatever you have to consume to survive. And
Absolutely.
That's just the bottom line.
And
as Kirby says, hyenas curl up dead elephants' asses. That's right.
Hey, what I've done at the end of the night is my business.
Vince Roberts says, from the rooter to the tutor. So that's not good enough, man. I appreciate the comment, but you got to come stronger than that. You're dealing with the Don Tony Teflon here, man. You got to come stronger than that. I need you're gonna get me. You got to come get me. That's not gonna get it done, man. You got to come harder than that one. Come on, man. You can do better. You can do better.
Oh my goodness. But thank you guys so much for all the text voicemails. If you want to get in some last minute ones, now's the time. We're going to start to head towards wrapping up pretty soon. So if anyone wants to get in some last minute texts or questions, anything you haven't got to, send them on in 781-990-8509.
Yeah, we do about 2 hours every time and everything else. So you know what I mean? So that's how we run it. And, every week and stuff like that. Vultures are creatures from Earth. Wendigos eat to gain power. you know, I would say, cheers to Phil and cheers to you. I would say that I've heard of human beings that eat other people's hearts, right? To
Yep.
consume the power of the enemy. We have to eat the heart of our enemy and we get the power of the enemy, right? People
Fucking
eat,
Thens.
yeah, people eat anything, man. When it comes down to people eat anything.
Yeah. If you're hungry, I mean, there's a whole movie. I know it's a true story, but there's a whole movie about those the soccer team that crashed on the mountain, or was it a rugby team? And they
And,
eat
yeah, and
alive.
in that TV show, Yellow Jackets.
Yep.
I should have covered that, and I will cover Yellow Jackets season 2. I was going to cover it last season, but Dexter was out at the same time, and I was doing good with Dexter. But I will definitely be covering
Alive. Yeah, that's
Yellow
it.
Jackets. Would I definitely be covering Yellow Jackets? If y'all haven't had a chance to watch Yellow Jackets, it's a good show. You watched it, right, Phil? Yellow
Not
Jackets?
yet.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, that one drunk chick is in it. You know, that who plays drunk really well. You know what I'm talking about. Christina Ricci is in it, and she's amazing in it.
Ooh, I love
Amazing in
Christina
it.
Ricci.
And yeah, she's amazing in it. And then that other chick who plays drunk really well. I always get her confused with Sandra Bernhard, but it's not Sandra Bernhard, it's the other chick.
Okay.
I always get those two confused. But it's not Sandra Bernhard, but I always get them confused.
What streaming platform is Yellow Jackets on?
It's on Showtime. What the hell is? Let me find out. You know, I mean,
I probably would
you
know.
know who I'm talking about.
What else is she in? That might help.
I was going to pull up right now. Say her name. Juliette.
Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, Juliette Lewis. Juliette Lewis.
Okay, see, it didn't take much. Like Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, like she plays drunk, fucked up chick. Great.
Yeah, she plays, really fucked up. I love how she was like 34 playing a teenager in Cape Fear. Like,
yeah, she's like that chick. Like, you know, like she's that chick that like seems like you know her.
Yes.
Like she just seems like the chick around your way who just happened to fucking make it in movies. You know what I mean? That's why I got love for that. Like I just see, I could just see like if I could hang out with her. Like we, like it wouldn't like she wouldn't be like I'm a movie star. I'm not like she'd just be a regular chick. Just hang out. Let's go grab a drink. Let's just go
taking tequila shots at the bar.
Yeah, she's fucking Juliette Lewis. That's what she seems like. You know what I mean? So,
she used to go out with Brad Pitt back in the day. Like she got Brad Pitt during like the Thelma and Louise Brad Pitt age. Go her.
Well, that was the fucking Robin Givens got Brad Pitt. Then before that.
Oh, was Brad Pitt her first after Tyson? Like Tyson back
before then? Tyson.
Oh,
like she broke Brad Pitt into the business. It was Robin Givens, and then Tyson told the story that when he got with her, he chased him.
Yeah, if I was gonna say, I would have not come in the public eye for like 10 years. If I was
like she was dating, and then Mike Tyson showed up at the house, and he jumped out the back window and bounced. He was like, he bounced out the back. He said he literally jumped out the back window and ran for his life.
Tony, I know you're tougher than most, but wouldn't you if Tyson's banging on your door?
Mike Tyson, unless I have a weapon. I'm gonna be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Tony's never run from a fight, but he's smart enough to run from Tyson.
No, there's some things you gotta be realistic about. You know what I mean? And fighting Mike Tyson is something you gotta have a weapon.
Street. Yeah, fighting Tyson in the street.
In the street without gloves on?
Yeah.
Come on, man. No, you really gotta be real. If he hits you, you're gonna go to sleep. You gotta have a weapon, and that's just the bottom line. You gotta have a weapon to take
and like body armor and stuff.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna have to have a bat, and you got one swing. You got one swing with that. I wouldn't even know if I fight him with a bat because you really only got one swing. And if he blocks the bat, your ass is hit.
Yeah, and if he's in rage mode too, he might just.
Yeah, he seems like the type of guy to beat you up and rape you.
Yeah,
like he might really just pull your pants down and butt fuck you. Like, I'd be scared of that, but Mike Tyson, because he's sick. You don't know what's going on in that guy's mind. You know what I mean?
I love how he beat the shit out of that guy on the airplane, and then like because that dude was such a dick, everyone's just like thanking him for it. He's like, "Oh, Tyson, you're just doing what you do." It's like, I'm not smoking weed right now. Don't. I love fucking Tyson. Great. Okay, area code 773 says,
we are starting the show now that you are here.
Always. I vote Tony dances to the Magarena and my friend who watches From thinks that the creatures are eating their guts as some type of ritual. So 2 parts of that. Tony thinks you should dance river dance to the Macarena, and the From question is thinks that, okay, why are they eating the guts? Is it a ritual, or are they doing it to survive?
I just think that they're just eating them. I think this is what it is. They're just eating them. They eat them. I don't think it's any ritual. I think that just they're hungry and they just eat them.
They're eating
And
because
that's
they're
what it is.
hungry. Because people taste good.
They eat them. You know what I mean? And they seem to eat the whole chest out. Because when they had the Asian dude, they ate his whole chest out, right? And then so that's just what it was. And when Sarah had to fake it to make it look like they ate him, she ripped the guy's chest who was in there and ripped his whole chest out.
Oh wow, Tony, we got some greetings from Sweden. Wow, holy shit.
Sweden in the
Wow.
building, Rockaway. Yeah,
Toast to you, my friend.
I think let's give a toast to Sweden up in the
Yeah, go do
building.
a toast to Sweden. I
I
just
don't
wanted-
think we've ever had anyone from Sweden.
I
And I don't think we've ever had anyone from Sweden before. You know what I mean? So, what up to my homeboy from Sweden, rocking with us right now? And
And
you
thank
got
you.
like that's that's a Swedish name. I mean, you
Mhm.
can't get more Swedish than that, right?
I'm not even going to try to kill your name by pronouncing it. Thank you, JS.
I think it was Joe Holgerson, right? Holgerson.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Holgerson. We'll go with Holgerson on that. Well, that's my man Holgerson up in the building, rocking.
Oh yeah, scum.
Oh.
Yes, fucking awesome.
Oh.
And 207 says the talisman is still hanging by the door when Fatima closes it and reactivates it.
I don't know. I think so. What they were trying to show was that it could be any confined space, and if they're in there, that they can't get in there with the confined space, because as soon as she does it, they go, "Oh, we were having so much fun." You know what I mean?
I always wonder if people can do American accents. Like, could you make fun of Americans with like doing "I am American," ha ha ha? You know, like
I'm sure you know. I'm sure you say skull. That's not how it sounds.
I know we're totally saying it. We're saying it with our like Boston.
I'm just saying it the way I fucking say it. I'm sure it sounds crazy.
Yeah, it sounds silly. It's better than us like trying to say it in his accent though. Like,
it's not like I'm trying to like you know. Only when I do that for is like Crocodile Dundee. Like I do try to put the Australian.
I got a knife.
Yeah, that's not a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife. I mean, that's Mick Dundee from Australia. You got to try to tell him, man. He's the best.
Where is our Australian lady? She ain't been up in this piece tonight. She must be.
Yeah, I don't see this tonight.
It is what it is, though. We got much love for her. Hopefully, she'll be back and rocking with us and stuff. But yeah, I think that's what they were trying to show. But again, I think that is suspect, and I don't know if the producers or the writers, you know, thought it all the way through, and maybe they're not thinking about it the way we think. Because as I said before, when Boyd was inside of the cave, there was no front closing. It was just vines hanging down, and they wouldn't come in there. So what would be the difference if the door was open?
And 207 adds to it, the monsters were in that front room with the talisman hanging when Fatima runs to the front door from inside.
They were inside the room with the talisman, and there was no problem, they're saying. And then when she closed the door,
because she sealed it in a smaller area, and maybe did she do anything or say anything? Do you have to set something up? Is there any way you have to activate it?
It could be some type of radiation that it stays inside the area. It stays in there. It traps them in there.
I mean, I know I'm not saying it's vampires, but I go to the comparison of vampires with is it vampires with garlic and crosses, you know, in the way that they just like, I can't stay away from that. Or is it they literally cannot go in there? It's like a force field gets set up. Do they just not like it? Is it uncomfortable for them? Those are some of those silly answers that you're only going to find out, to go to Tony's thing, is if you capture one and you go through Mr. Wizard's world and go through a whole experimental panel with him. and
like,
figure it out.
we do as human, it's like one of those things that don't actually work that the people keep buying. Those pest controls. You plug it in the outlet. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and it like buzzes to try to stop
Yeah.
the pest.
So how it gives like frequencies you can't hear, but
It ends up
somehow
just
these
making your
devices
pet
can
piss
hear.
everywhere. Your dog
And,
pisses everywhere.
and because the green light lights up, that means it's giving off this frequency. Listen, I could make a plug that has a green light on it. At this
Tony.
point, hey, you can't hear it. Don't worry about it. It's working. The green light. So.
I'll give you this. It gets out every single knot in your back. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
There you go.
$100.
I know how people fall for those things. I see them in people's houses. I'm like, you really think this because it has a green light? You can't hear it. No, you can't. You can't. There's no proof in it.
It's working. No, it's working. It's totally working.
There's no green lights on. It's got to be working.
That means it works. It means it's on.
Yeah, no, it's this kind of artist stuff, man. It's kind of artist stuff, and that's it. But no, it's hard. It's hard that it's not fleshed out. The talismans aren't explained. Only thing they explain about the talismans is that somehow these creatures don't come into houses when it's sealed.
Yeah. And other than that, it's just base. They come in when. Sorry, I'm just jumping over to the message. They come in when Jasmine opens the window. They are in the front room with the talisman, waiting for people to run out. So
who's Jasmine? That opened the window.
It's Jasmine. I think Jasmine is Jasmine the girl talking to Porn Stash.
So she opened the window on the top floor, if that's her name.
Right. If that's who he's talking about.
So and then they came down from the top floor.
So the talismans are still set up everywhere, or did we see one fall down?
There's only one talisman in the whole house. That's the one at the front door.
Right.
That's
so does that protects the whole house? But if the window's open, then they can
come in if you open the window.
You can open the window.
That's why Boyd said when the first girl dies, he said, you have to nail those windows shut when you have kids. You nail them shut. And that's it. So when they get in, so I guess when it's all sealed up,
it works.
Can't get in there.
You need to make it airtight.
Yeah, it's got to be airtight. But again, that contradicts the situation with Boyd because it wasn't airtight with Boyd. You know what I mean? He had
just set it up a quick tent or something.
Yeah. So it depends. I don't know if they haven't thought that through, or they just haven't explained it or anything like that. But
or if they're even real, or if it's something that they want, and this leads into that it's all some sort of that there's a higher power fucking with everybody. And
we just spoke about it. Here she is.
Wow. That I was gonna say that the moment you mentioned her name, she was gonna pop her face in. And
there she is. There's our Australian queen in the building. Carla Way is in the building, right? We got Carla Way up in the building. We got someone from Sweden rocking with us and everything else. Thank you, Carla Way.
International. They come in the front door. They are waiting, says 207. 907 says they should set up pitfall traps, deadfalls, spring traps for the monsters. Should they go all Home Alone on these monsters? Should they get should Macaulay Culkin be on that bus and set up traps for these monsters here?
I do everything. I put a bear trap out there. I'd see everything. I put it all out there. You have to. You can't be afraid of everything. You know what I mean? You have to at some point start.
Yeah. How is Boyd the only functional human that wants to be proactive in this whole entire town? I guess he inspired other people to do it, but it seems like the generation of people that were there before Boyd got there were very blasé about it and weren't trying to do things.
Yeah, they didn't care. They're just going through. They're just hiding in the dirt.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I'm not hiding in the dirt, man. You got to figure a way out of this situation. There has to be a way to figure stuff out. I'm not going through the motion. I guess it's kind of institutionalized, right? That they just got used to living this way, and that was it. As Donna said, she's like, here the monsters show you who they are. In the real world, the monsters hide who they are. You know what I mean? And that's what she was saying. She said, I know you think that county house is all about fucking and smoking weed, but it's more than that. You know,
Those are important things too.
they are, and that's the reason why I would stay there.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're in that situation. I'm not saying. I mean, I would probably stay. Okay, that's a question here. You would stay if you were in this town. Would you be in Colony House or would
Let's
you?
ask the people in the chat. If you were in the town, would you be at Colony House or would you in the Village? So I will say this, me personally, most likely I'd be in the town because it's safer.
Yeah.
Right, but I go to hang out at Colony House.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I would spend a lot of nights at Colony House,
Yeah.
but I would be both because I'd want to be proactive about doing shit too. But
Yeah,
I would
I would
also
live
want to
in
be
town.
fucking and smoking weed.
Yeah, but I'm going up there to chill with them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But then
Yeah.
but before it gets dark, I'm gonna run my ass back home.
Yeah, I want to go hang out with Fatima and the rest of the kids at the Colony House.
Yeah, but that's the way.
I'm having drinks with Donna. I'm taking shots with Donna. Like I'm hanging out at the Colony House.
I would have fucked them all. They would have all got there. If I'm in a situation like that, you know, you have. This is not about.
What
being
else is
picky.
there to do?
This is nothing about being picky anymore. You know, that's what my friend 40 Black used to say. Like we were at a reunion one time, and then he was sitting there, and there was some chick that he used to sleep back in the day, and she showed up at the reunion. He took her in the car and just hit it in real quick, and they came back out. I was like, "You hit that real?" He's like, "Listen, man. You say, you know what sex is like? It's like smoking a cigarette. It's a way to pass time, man."
Yeah, like, this is not the place to be picky. This is about proving.
No, this is not, you may die tomorrow. You might as well do what you gotta do, man.
And when you're at a reunion, it's somewhat about proving points and stuff. The monster that chased Ellis out the window is the same monster that walks around the corner when he is on the ground with Fatima, fast moving, 21 seconds. So the monster that chased Ellis out the window is the same monster that walks around the corner when he's on the ground for question, fast moving, 21 seconds. I'm not sure I understand exactly the question, but yes, it does seem like some of them are more fast moving, and when they go into action mood,
when they're about to eat you, they
go
lunge
quick.
at you.
They move very rapid.
The lunge is fast, but right when they change into their natural form, when they lunge at you, it's fast. But when they're far away from you, they just walk. But they said that it was some type of like it's a game to them. You know what I mean? And then Donna said that they were torturing her sister.
Mm-hmm.
They could have just killed her sister, but purposely they were torturing her, probably trying to draw her out to come save her and everything else. But Donna was like, "Nah, you going, girl." We got one person who answered the question, Christina Jarvis. Thank you very much.
I would live in town.
She would live in town. Ask everyone.
Lauren says town as well.
Oh, we have Lauren. Lauren's in town too. Yeah, it's safer in town.
Yeah, but I'm sleeping over at Colony House a lot.
Yeah, I'm chilling in Colony House.
Yeah, I'm hanging out at Colony House. If 907 says Colony House is where the fucking party's happening, because after a certain point in time, there's only so hard you can work trying to get out of the place. I'm gonna want a party. Is the monster like? Oh, sorry, it's the monster. Is the plumbing like the electricity? Are they filling up the monsters' homes with sewage? Where is the duty going, Tony?
You know, I would have to think that the pipes work.
Let's get into the shit. Let's get into the shit of this theory, Tony. Where's the poop going?
I would have to think that's where it's going and everything else. You know what I mean?
Did the aliens have a special device to handle a special poop device?
Well, you know, the poop that pappy situation. You know, why was his name Poop Deck Pappy? I mean, that's Popeye's fault. Yeah. I mean, if we
duty.
If we break it down, what his name is? Shit, daddy, right?
Dude, 907, thank you for the material. You're fucking amazing, dude.
Like, who is your father? Oh shit, Deck Daddy. That's my shit, Deck Daddy's your dad. What do you think about that?
Oh my goodness. The shitters. Where do you think the peaches come from? Oh, I don't know where the peaches come from. It's this Vince, I don't know if you meant this, but I just imagined some weird recycling. Oh no, that the monsters, that's how they're ultimately screwing with people. All the peaches.
There was a movie that they were killing the people and feeding them the people. What was that? Was that
Yeah.
the train? The train
It was
movie?
something like that. Like I remember that. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Game of Thrones. Obviously, there's something like that happens in Game of Thrones as well. Well, two situations where someone theoretically eats or drinks blood of somebody that we see in the main Jojen paste and obviously Arya feeding Frey pies.
Yeah, they start. Where are they getting toilet paper? I guess the same place Victor's getting the crayons.
It's true. I mean, does that stuff just show up in their bathroom every day?
Is there enough supply? I mean, listen, they got pancakes and shit and syrup at the diner. The
Does
pancakes
that just fill up automatically? Like, do they get that delivered every day, like in a drone that drops that shit off every day?
It could be some Amazon situation.
Yeah, it could be some Amazon drone things
This could
going
be
on.
Jeff Bezos controlling.
This is. I think we figured it's not aliens, Tony. It's not. Tony's eating the chip. He's eating the chip.
No, Bezos is definitely an alien. We know.
Oh
that.
yeah, that's true. It's a push. It's a push. I'm.
We know that for sure. That motherfucker's an alien. There's no doubt about that motherfucker.
The aliens are supplying the toilet paper and the plumbing.
I mean, something's going on here.
Oh, wait. I could eat a peach. I could eat a peach for hours. I love that movie, dude. I'm so glad that you just quoted Face Off. That's one of my favorite bad movies of all time. Not that it's I mean, you know what I mean, like cheesy action over the top movie. I think it succeeds on every level in the movie it's trying to create, and Travolta and Nick Cage work so well together in that movie.
I think Nick Cage did an excellent job at playing John Travolta.
Yes, and like
when you look at his way he plays him, he really has the actions down. Yeah. He has it down. You know, John Travolta does a decent job with Nick Cage.
All right. Yeah, he's all right.
Nick Cage got John Travolta down. Like he's got him. Like he's totally got him 100% down.
My face off.
They should do that. I think that's a movie that could be remade. I think they could do that over that movie. That movie is ripe to be remade and stuff.
Only if Nick Cage is in it again.
No, it can't be him.
Nah, I know, I'm kidding.
You know, but you put someone else in there. You could put two other people in there to do it and stuff. I think they could pull that off.
Someone says we should do a live stream of viewing of Hard Ticket to Hawaii. That's something that Tony and I have never done together. It's hard when we're not in the same place, but we could theoretically do that at some point, like a live watch of something. Like Tony's done some. I think he did it for the Dexter finale. I've definitely done some. I usually do it for events like award shows or you and I did it for the boxing match. We did it for the Tyson Roy Jones fight.
Yeah, we did the Roy Jones.
That was fun. That was fun.
You know, maybe the whole thing is, and that's another thing with event thing. You know, when you have these apps, they don't come out at the same time. For people who don't have the apps, you don't get the show at the same time. But we could probably do something for from season 2 premiere.
Yeah,
we could do that live and stuff like that.
That'd be fun.
You know, so we could definitely get things popping like that.
Eric C is back, and Canelo's still to go.
Hey, there you go. Mara says, that's my good movie. Can't say shit about Cage around me. Con Air, The Rock, Face Off.
I mean, if we go to my favorite Nick Cage movie, I mean, all those amazing over the top Nick Cage movies are great, but my favorite overall performance he ever did is in Raising Arizona, just because I think that's the best movie he's a part of. And I just think he's amazing in that movie. And I really like that movie a lot, but I think he has more Nick Cage performances out there that are amazing Nick Cage performances, but something about Raising Arizona really works for me with it. He plays an understated a little bit, but that's one of my favorite of his movies.
Well, what can you say about it? He won an Oscar, all right? So he's an Oscar award-winning actor. What can you say about it for stuff, you know? So, who was in that movie with him? The chick from The Boys was in that movie.
Holly Hunter?
No, from The Boys. From The Boys.
What's her name?
From that was in the Karate Kid. Elizabeth Shue. She was one, but she played the prostitute, right? Elizabeth Shue.
Yes, Elizabeth Shue. Yeah. Leaving Las. Was it Leaving Las? He does two Vegas movies, but it's Leaving Las Vegas, I believe.
Yeah, that's one he won the Oscar for. Yeah, for that one and stuff. Elizabeth
Shue.
I get her confused with Meg Ryan all the time. all the time. I always confuse
Elizabeth
her.
Shue still looks like a human being. Meg Ryan looks like,
Yeah, I don't know what Russell Crowe did to her, but he did something wrong.
or her plastic. She's like Joan Rivers passed away, so someone needs to look like her.
Yeah, well, someone's got to step up to like that. All right, well, so we are gonna.
Sorry, I'm just trashing Meg Ryan.
Yeah, we're gonna get back.
I'm such an asshole. She can do whatever she wants. I'm sorry.
Yeah, leave it Las Vegas. All right, so we'll be back next week. Again, you can check out if you the Boy in White. You want to?
I might be a little late next week because I'm performing for 200. I'm doing a drum show, a comedy show for 200 kids live. But I will. It's at 6 o'clock, so I will be get home around 8. So you may need to start without me, but I will be there.
All right. Well, that will be here next week. I'll be here. Phil will be here joining us. We'll be here. And if you have any topics specifically you want to talk about with From, any news, you hear about it, definitely let us know. And everything else, we'll get it popping. I'll have another video out before that on From. And check out the video I just
Tony,
dropped.
have you figured out what the next show you're going to be covering besides From is coming up?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just like.
Are you just stalling for House of Dragon?
Well, there was one show with about this serpent in the water and stuff like that. Who's in that show? Some serpent show, and I watched the first episode. But
isn't there a show on HBO that's just started with John Barenthal from the Wire creators? I've been wanting to check out.
Yeah, but that's another.
Is it one and done? Is it like a one and done?
Yeah, it's a one and done. So that's why I didn't do it.
I haven't checked it out yet. I
heard like the serpent of some place or something like that. I was going to do something like that. You know what I mean? But I was going to do that, so I'm not sure. Oh, the Essex, the Essex serpent. I was going to do that. I was thinking about that. So we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see. I'll have a new show by next week. I think something else drops this week on HBO, but maybe the time traveler's wife. We'll maybe throw something out there for that and everything else. We'll see what it is and everything else. All right. Thank you all for rocking with us. We'll be back next week. If you like the way you do this, please thumbs up to spread this across the realm. And as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay